and I either like to plan my week's meals on Sundays or on Mondays before I grocery shop, because I almost always grocery shop on Mondays. So I'm sitting down. This is my new meal planner I got for my birthday, and it's really cute. So there's like a shopping list on this side, and then it's hard to tell, but there's 3 slots for every day, and you can just write down your whole meal plan. One thing that I like to do, I've only used this for a few weeks, but I like to, as I think of things, or if I see recipes that I think look really good, I'll go to the next week's spread and I will just jot that down so that I remember that I want to try out whatever recipe it is. So I didn't even remember this, but I have written down just one thing on here, and it says mashed potato bowl, because one of my favorite vegan food blogs called Rabbit and Wolves, which I haven't used many of their recipes, but I find their website really inspiring. They uploaded this mashed potato bowl that looked very unique. I don't think I've ever made anything like that. There's like mashed potatoes and tofu in it, so I'm gonna look that up. And then as for the other days, I really don't know what I'm gonna make, so. Tonight on Monday we're gonna have leftovers because we had company over for dinner last night and we have a ton of pizza left over. Tomorrow night I'm going to show you how to make some Indian dal and maybe some chapati. That will be great, and I haven't made that in a long time. And then Wednesday and Thursday night we're having some family come to stay, so I'm gonna make butternut squash wild rice stew, which I've never made before, and I will serve that with some French bread that I'll make sometime. Probably I'll make it that morning. And then Thursday I found this recipe from Bon Appetit for spaghetti pie that has some eggplant in it and, oh, cherry tomatoes, didn't write that down. Friday we will eat leftovers because I'm sure we'll have some, and then Saturday I'm gonna try out that mashed potato bowl, hopefully. So that's what we're working with, and I've got my shopping list Today is a day where we are trying to clean out the fridge. I did go grocery shopping this morning, so the fridge is full of new groceries, but still has some old stragglers that really need to be taken care of. So I just went through there while Saffron played with the rib of a piece of kale on the ground. New toy, organic new toy. Actually, I don't even think it was organic. So we've got 1 serving of macaroni and cheese left. And then for the other person, I don't know who's gonna get what, but I'm gonna whip together an interesting sort of leftover salad. And then Saffron's probably gonna eat a bunch of beans, maybe some broccoli, some sweet potato. We'll see, but I think this could actually be fun. I find that a lot of times these weird leftover meals end up being some of the best meals, and I don't know why. It's kind of frustrating, but it's true, so we'll see what happens. This dinner ended up being really yummy, and I started my salad out with a shriveled up romaine heart that I got to use all the way up, some little pieces of broccoli left over from when I made pizza, some cherries, walnuts, and some farro from my squash the week prior. And then I also had a half of an avocado, which always elevates a salad. Saffron got a lot of the same things, and she actually ate most of the dinner. She didn't eat a lot of the broccoli, but everything else she really liked, especially the beans. If you see me putting odds and ends into my freezer, that's because that's where we keep our compost before we bring it into the backyard where our bin is. Tonight I am going to be making a really simple red lentil dal. This is a really simple Indian dish, and if you are a vegetarian or you are looking for more vegetarian meals to fit into your life, this is the one to master, in my opinion. Dal is one of the simplest, most flavorful, most cost-effective, most nutritious vegetarian meals that I can think of, and it's really not very hard, and it's like endlessly riffable. So this is going to be a red lentil dal, but you can get whatever lentils you want and try different sorts of dals out of them. I like red lentils because they cook up really quickly. They turn kind of smushy, so you can either use like a flatbread to scoop them up, or you can put it over rice, which is actually what I'm going to do tonight. I was going to make chapati, but I just don't feel like it, so I'm going to do that another week for you guys. I'm gonna start with a good amount of coconut oil, I don't know, 3 tablespoons maybe, and I'm gonna cut up my onion and dice that. And then I also have some diced up fresh ginger. I'm gonna toast some spices in there. In the coconut oil, I'm going to add my diced onion and ginger, saute those, and get those going until they're both really softened. Okay, so my coconut oil is nice and hot. Which way do I want to do this? Okay, I'm gonna add some whole spices, and this is a big difference in Indian cuisine. You start with some whole spices at the beginning, and you get those toasting in the oil, and they really add a lot of depth to the dish in the end. I normally wouldn't measure any of this, but I'm gonna try. So I'm gonna start with about a teaspoon of black mustard seeds. Yeah, that's about good. And then, yeah, we'll do a teaspoon of cumin seeds too. And both of these are gonna kind of start to sputter as they heat up, and the mustard seeds will actually begin to pop. So I'm just gonna wait for that. I also have 2 carrots, and I'm gonna grate those up while I wait. Also, I don't think I mentioned this, but traditionally I would be using ghee as my oil for this recipe, but I don't have any ghee in the house right now, and I'm really trying not to buy extra jars of things because my fridge door is so full. So I am using coconut oil instead, but ghee is a lot tastier, not gonna lie. Okay, I definitely should have started this process on a higher heat because they are just now starting to pop. Hopefully you can hear that. Just little pops. Oh, okay. going a little crazy, so I'm gonna add in my onion now, and that'll tame it just a little bit. I'm just using half an onion today because it's what I'm doing. Shake some salt into there. Maybe half a teaspoon. Okay, I'm also gonna add in my ginger. This is a good tablespoon of fresh ginger that I actually froze. And I'm gonna let those cook for a little bit until the onion starts to get kind of translucent. Let's see if I can move you for a better look. I'm also going to shake a little bit of asafetida into this. It's really powerful, and it's kind of used in place of garlic in this recipe. You don't need much, and it doesn't smell good, I'm not going to lie. Okay, we got to crouch down here, but the onions are really pretty well cooked now, and I'm going to add in this shredded carrot. I think I'm going to add in my red lentils now, my diced tomatoes, half a can of coconut milk, and some water. Now it's time for my favorite spice blend ever, Garam Masala, which I just looked it up, and it has cumin, coriander, cardamom, cinnamon, I think clove. It was like every sea spice, nutmeg. I think there was one more, but anyways, you could make it, but you can definitely order it online, or even better, you can find a local Indian market, or my grocery store actually does sell garam masala, but I don't know if every grocery store would, but it is such a good spice blend, and it makes making a really yummy lentil dal really simple. So, I don't know, starting with a good old tablespoon. So I'm gonna let this simmer for a while. I'm gonna just put it on really low, let it bubble away, let it thicken up. I will be serving this over rice with some cilantro on top, a pretty good bit of cilantro because it adds a lot of really good flavor and some freshness to this dish. I will be adjusting the salt levels and the spice levels at the end. Oh, I'm gonna add a little red pepper in. That is my recipe for red lentil dal, and you can do whatever you want with it. It's really, you can change up this recipe in so many ways, and it is so good. So I will show you what the plate looks like in the end. Come on, you know you want to try it. Come on, try it, try it. I need a taster tester. Look. You see. We are gonna eat outside tonight because it's so beautiful outside. So we've got our dal all plated up with some steamed green beans. I drizzled some lemon over the top of the whole dish and served it with some white rice and cilantro. And Saffron is gonna eat the same thing. Wow, that just fell right into my bowl. Perfect. We've made it to Wednesday, and during Saffron's afternoon nap, I made myself a nice strong cup of pour-over coffee with some oat milk in it, and then I set to work on making butternut squash wild rice stew, which I was making because we had company coming. And I also made my mom's famous Portuguese sweetbread, which you'll see me pulling out of the oven soon. Yep, here it is. It's really glorious and it was really yummy. My mom has actually agreed to make a video with me of us making this bread together the next time I'm home. This recipe was pretty straightforward, just leeks and celery, I think some garlic, sauteed up, and then some greens go in there, and some carrots, and you just get all those softened and yummy with some yummy salt and pepper on them too. Watching myself cut things in like 12 times speed is really, really satisfying, let me tell you. I like to think that I'm a pretty efficient cook, but I look extra efficient when I'm going 14 times the speed. Also, you can't tell how much I struggled to peel this butternut squash. So if anybody has any better way of peeling a butternut squash or cutting them so that you don't feel like you might kill yourself by mistake, please share them in the comments with me. I did really like this recipe. The only thing I will say is that I left it to simmer on our stove for just a couple hours on really low just to keep it warm and get the flavors all melding together, but things did kind of get pretty mushy by the time it was served, but the flavors were really good. I used some of the stock that I made in last week's video. I used it all up, so I'm hoping next week I can make some more veggie stock to put in my freezer. And that's wild rice in there too, if you were wondering what that was. There's some chickpeas, and I added cream. The recipe called for cashew cream, but I had half and half in the house, so I just decided to use that instead. This is Saffron's bowl. I always serve her soup over some torn up bread to thicken it and make it easier for her to grab, and she loved it. That is going to be it for this week's video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. I know I had a couple of other recipes planned for this week, but we ended up eating out of my freezer meals and also having more leftovers than I had thought, so I'll be rolling those recipes that I planned into next week's video instead. If you haven't seen last week's, my first video, I will link it in the description box. Please check out the description box. I will also have all of the blog post recipes that I use, as well as my dal recipe written out. Please leave a comment recommending me any recipes or telling me which recipe in this video you think looked really yummy. Please also like this video and subscribe. And if you've got any friends who are trying to eat more vegetarian, then please send this video to them, because that really is so encouraging to me. So have an awesome week of cooking.